Hello, good people, and welcome to Hillbilly Cat History, where today we learn that Kang Rhee is a master. And in our last couple of episodes, we've been in Kang Rhee's dojo, and that's where we're still at. And we're going to learn more about Kang Rhee today, and a new voice is going to enter from the archive. A person who knew Kang and Elvis personally, and they were there when many of the events that we've talked about happened. And they're going to give us their first-hand account. But before we get there, we're going to listen to a song. And in today's stories, we're going to hear about some jewelry, some gold, precious metal which does not tarnish. And Elvis gave these gifts of gold for specific reasons. One of which was so that this gold piece would still be perfect years from today, from the day that he gave it, and it had a message attached to it. It said, "I am your friend, you are my friend. Even when we are apart, we are together." Elvis was binding the people around him that were in his heart to him with this jewelry, and in the last year of his life, he made a lot of promises to a special woman named Ginger Alden. Hi, Linda. Hi, Jane. Thank you so much for coming. Appreciate seeing you here. Now, these promises that he made to Ginger Alden, just like the name of this song, they were sealed in gold.
In the hush of a Vegas night, he called her close, no stage, no lie. Slipped a ring on both her hands, no crowd to cheer, no wedding band, just love, just breath, just time grown old, a vow unspoken, sealed in gold. Two hearts carved in 24K, in peace, in quiet display. No diamonds loud, no eagles cry, just tenderness that doesn't lie. Worn near her skin, where stories hold a whisper of him, sealed in gold. My love, my love, my life, he wrote in chains a promise for through joy and pain, not just a gift, but something whole, the myth, the memory, sealed in gold. No velvet throne, no final show, just gravel roads where true love goes. He gave her life, he gave her soul, and left behind a heart to hold. He loved my life, he wrote it in chains, a promise for through joy and pain, sealed in gold, sealed in gold, sealed in gold.
Thank you all for gathering here at Hillbilly Cat History, where we remember together and listen for the echoes. Hi Gunn, hi Jane, hi Pat, hi Terry, hi Jen, hi Marion. I hope I got everyone there. Thank you all so much for coming. I appreciate seeing you here. And Linda, hi Linda. We're back in Kang Rhee's dojo with Elvis as he learns karate from the master. And we can see on screen Master Rhee with Elvis in the outfit that Master Rhee designed for Elvis, wearing a patch that Master Rhee and Elvis designed together. And today we're going to hear from someone who was there, someone who also trained under Master Rhee, and his name was Wayne Carman. And Wayne says that my name is the Lion, or Mr. Lion. Now, as you may remember from earlier episodes, Master Rhee has everybody choose an animal name, or he chooses one. It's not exactly clear. There's a ritual in which an animal name is assigned to the student. Master Rhee's animal name is Ox, which is an unusual name for Master Rhee because he is a very small individual. Master Rhee had great strength of character, though. He was immovable in both his physical form during karate and within his mind once he'd set his mind to what he believed. So he had the strength and the endurance of an ox. Now, Elvis chose a name, and Wayne's going to tell us about it. But back to Wayne. Wayne says, my name is the Lion, or Mr. Lion. Modesty prevents me from detailing all the strengths of the lion, but I admit I feel very comfortable with this title. Wayne tells us that he is the king of the jungle, that he identifies with a lion. He is as strong as a lion. He is as fierce as a lion. He will attack like a lion. He's comfortable with it. He likes this name. And Wayne says that after a lot of thought and consideration, Master Rhee formally and permanently bestowed Elvis with the name of the Panther. The Panther is tall and lean, slick in his physique, and has dark black fur. Kang Rhee stated, yes, Elvis, you are the Panther. So Elvis also received from Master Rhee a name which was a description of his physical grace, his coiled strength, the sleekness of his movements and appearance. Elvis embodied the movements of this giant cat. And so he earns the name, the Panther. Mr. Panther. And Wayne goes on and he says, after receiving his animal name from Master Rhee, Elvis was very happy and proud, leaving the school almost walking on air. So just as Wayne is very comfortable with the name Mr. Lion, and he feels that it embodies his own traits, Elvis is very happy with the name Mr. Panther and feels that it embodies him. So Master Rhee has a talent for picking names of animals and assigning them to these students. And they truly feel that this represents who they are. And this is an assist in their training. It's part of their psychological training. And Wayne goes on. He says, late one night, Master Rhee's phone rang. It was Elvis calling. He explained that after thinking about it for a while, he decided Panther might be the wrong name for him. He explained that a black militant group was causing havoc, committing acts of terrorism in our country. Elvis was afraid that his animal name might be viewed as a small way of supporting that movement and their cause. As an American patriot, Elvis didn't want to chance it. Elvis asked, how about Tiger? It's still a cat. Master Rhee agreed. Okay, your name is Tiger. So we'd heard previously this story from a third-person perspective that Elvis had originally chosen the name of Panther, and then they had changed to Tiger because of these political things that are going on in the country at the time. Political activism from a group called the Black Panthers. But here, Wayne was there, and he's telling us Elvis really liked this name of Panther. But it was Elvis himself who saw the danger in the publicity of the name Panther, of what might happen if it made it into a paper, a newspaper, or onto the news. So he changed it to Tiger. And Master Rhee went along with that because Master Rhee understood that Elvis had another set of priorities in his life than karate. And Master Rhee supported those other priorities. And he loved Elvis. Like right from the beginning. So they chose this name of Tiger to represent Elvis, but also to protect him. Because Panther might have been a way for someone to attack him. And Linda's saying that she remembers the Black Panthers, and Elvis would not want to be involved with anything about that political organization. And Jen's saying that she'd never known that story. So I'm glad I could bring it to you. And right now, you can go to Memphis and you can visit this dojo. It's open as a museum right now. The spa guy opened it. It's called the Tiger Man Karate Dojo and Museum. But it'd be a far different name if it was Panther Man Karate Dojo and Museum. So I'm glad he changed it to Tiger for no other reason than that. But I identify Elvis with more of a tiger than a panther anyway. So I think it was a good name change. And Marion's saying that Elvis was right that the Black Panther movement was even known in Germany at the time, and that tiger fits perfectly. It sounds much better. And I think the tiger is a much showier animal. It has the black stripes on the orange coat, and it's more of a showman. Whereas a panther, it hides in the shadows. And Jen's saying, I can't see anyone thinking Elvis would join the Black Panther. But who knows back then with the times. I agree with that, Jen, but I also see where the Black Panthers would immediately have publicized that if they'd known that his name was Panther and tried to attach him to the movement. And Terry's asking if I did more research on the photos of Scylla doing karate. And he's saying he thinks that it was her. Well, we're going to look at the photos again today. But no, I haven't done any research yet. Because I found this Wayne Carmen guy, and I thought you guys would really be interested in what he has to say because it's so interesting. And so Wayne goes on. He has more to say. And he says on one occasion, after working out, Elvis told me jokingly, you know, Wayne, the lyrics on one of my songs says, I'm the king of the jungle. They call me the Tiger Man. That means Mr. Lion can't be king if Mr. Tiger is. Elvis smiled and waited for my reaction. You're right, Mr. Tiger, I countered, but if that's true, you shouldn't be wearing that lion's claw around your neck. Elvis was wearing a big, solid gold lion claws pendant. It was magnificent. Without blinking, Elvis said, you're right, as he took the necklace off and offered it to me. It belongs to the true owner, Mr. Lion. I pressed the pendant back into Elvis's hand with both of mine and explained to him, please don't be insulted, Elvis, but I don't want expensive gifts from you, and I don't want you to think of me as that kind of person. Your friendship is priceless to me, and you've already given me that, so please, no thanks. And Elvis said, you'll always have my friendship, Wayne. So Wayne tells us that Elvis was friendly with him, that he joked with him after a workout, that they had a special relationship together because of their shared cat names, Mr. Lion and Mr. Tiger, that Elvis offered him a very expensive piece of jewelry, but that he turned it down because he wanted to truly be Elvis's friend. And that's one of these guys that's in this dojo with Elvis. When Elvis shows up with the 16 people and he meets Kang, this is one of Kang's students. This is one of the people that's learning karate from Master Rhee. And Jane's pointing out that Elvis started karate in the army. That's right, Jane. And in the last few episodes, we've met some of those people that taught Elvis karate in the army and shortly afterwards. So you might want to check those out because I think they're pretty good episodes. And Linda's saying that she loves these stories. And Jen's agreeing that if the Black Panthers had known Elvis used the name Panther, they would have tried to create a sensation around it. Wayne says that the next time I saw Elvis, and this is the next time he sees Elvis after he's turned down the gift of the expensive jewelry, the necklace, the pendant of the lion's claw. Wayne says the next time I saw Elvis, he presented me with my TCB necklace. And as he gave it to me, he said, Wayne, this is an act of friendship, so you can't refuse it. So Wayne turned down the lion pendant, and instead, the next time Elvis saw him, he received a TCB. Now, I know you guys have heard many, many times that the only people who got these TCB necklaces were Inner Circle, Memphis Mafia. That's the only people that get the TCB. We've heard that, I think, many, many times. And I'm here to tell you it's absolutely not true. The Memphis Mafia did receive TCB necklaces, but they weren't the only ones. Because the TCB didn't have anything to do with the Inner Circle. It had to do with who was in Elvis's heart and who he wanted to be in his heart. And he marked all those people with a TCB or a TLC. The TCB was taking care of business, and the TLC was tender love and care. The women typically got a TLC. The men got a TCB. And here, one of Elvis's fellow students, one of the people walking this path of karate with him, someone that's training with him, someone Elvis respects, he gives him a TCB. Wayne Carman. I bet you've never heard Wayne's name before. Many of you are lifelong Elvis fans, and I bet you've never heard Wayne's name before, and yet he had a TCB straight from Elvis, placed around his neck by Elvis himself. And Gunn says that she thinks the name Tiger suits Elvis. And Jane agrees. And Gunn says that she likes Master Rhee's nice smiling face, and she's glad Elvis had him and was able to train with him. And Marion says that in her opinion, the tiger's fur is the most beautiful, just like Elvis. So Elvis, later in the relationship, he flies Kang Rhee to see him in live performances at the Las Vegas Hilton. And he stayed at Elvis's personal home in Los Angeles. And I believe this was 1974. I'm pulling this information I'm telling you today from a single source. And it's to get us introduced with Master Rhee. And this is what we've been going over for the last couple of days. But there's a lot more information about Master Rhee, like Wayne Carman, that we're going to layer in the future. But this is so we get an understanding of what happened. And we're doing this like we do all the stories that we get into. We got to kind of lay out these events because they're complicated. And then we come back in and we get more nitty gritty into what happened on a day-by-day basis if we can, or figure out more details of the events. But in this case, Elvis was on a 15-day tour in so I think the Las Vegas was prior to 1974. Although we've seen information that's when they met. So again, it's confusing, but this also says that he was on a 15-day tour of Memphis, Alabama, Atlanta, and Nashville, and he brought King along, and he introduced him to the audience during the tours. So Master Rhee, very important to Elvis. He's now brought him, like Dr. Nick, along on a tour. Also like Lowell Hayes, the jeweler. Elvis gets locked into these people. You know, they're his friends, and he wants them with him all the time. Have a good one, Jane. Thank you so much for coming. She's got to go pick up her grandchildren from school, and that's important. And Linda's wondering what year it is in the picture that we see. That she thinks 1974 is about right. Well, we haven't dated it exactly yet. We will eventually. But I think you're about right. I think it's definitely in the 70s, and I feel 73, 74, 75. It's right in there somewhere. And while Master Rhee was in Los Angeles and then later on this tour, he describes Elvis by saying, "Elvis tried to entertain me, And then he tried to make me relaxed and happy. And Kang Rhee described Elvis as a master of music, of martial arts, and maybe even costume design. And he was impressed by the singer's sincere devotion. And I think this is sincere devotion to everything. You know, whatever he takes on, whatever challenge he begins, Elvis gives himself 100% to it. And that's what he's doing in the karate. And that's what Master Rhee sees. Let's take a look at a few pictures. Here we see Master Rhee and Elvis on the same day. And I believe this is the performance that Elvis gave so that the students could begin to see him as a fellow student on the path to karate and not solely as a superstar. Because as he first joined the class, of course, everybody's eyes were on Elvis, just like everywhere he went. This is why he could not attend regular church services. Once he stepped into the building, all eyes went to Elvis, and he became the center of attention. And he wanted the sermons to be the center of attention. And he knew he was a distraction when he was at these churches. And that's one of the reasons he stopped attending church. Now, he would often watch services on television. That began to be a popular thing in the 70s. And so he did practice his religion through those television sermons. But he was not allowed, you know, through his own fame. He could have gone to church, but he wouldn't have been able to enjoy the Christian fellowship that he was looking for. And Jen's saying that she loves the story about the ingrown toenail, which was in yesterday's video. So if you guys didn't see that, make sure you watch that. And Marion's saying that the clam bake story we're following in the my afternoons in the second daily broadcast. We're doing it at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. We'll again be talking about clam bake as it relates to the Circle G, the year 1967. And Marion's saying that it's a really sad story at the moment. Elvis has hit his head, banged it really hard. It's got a big golf ball sized lump on it. Nobody calls a doctor. They call the colonel. The colonel calls a doctor. So if you want to know more about that story, be sure that you join us this afternoon. And Marion, who is a loyal viewer and comes to nearly every single broadcast, loves the songs, and has asked that perhaps we could start doing a song in the middle of each broadcast. And so today, we're going to go ahead and do a song right now at the middle of the broadcast. And this one's about life on Circle G, and it's called Threads and Dreams.
Black pants in the sun, rode horses through silence, then golf carts for fun. A ranch just 10 miles from the mansion's bright gate, where the myth met the morning and time learned away. George fixed the brickwork, the pipes in the ground, lit VP on shirt where no spotlight was found. Donna kept diaries, snapshots ahead of a father who labored, of a myth made by men. He didn't ask for gold, didn't dream of a crown, just a place to be still when the world spun around. In the hands of the choir, in the stitch of a seam, he carried the weight of a half-finished dream. The holster was worn, the leather was cracked, BP etched in thread, no glory attacked. Mike shaped the saddle, the belt and the law, so Elvis could ride through a myth he adored. He didn't ask for gold, didn't dream of a crown, just a place singing still, that courage spun out. In the hang out the fight, the mistakes on the sea, we drained the weight of the hearts and his teeth. Snowstorms in March to fairgrounds at night. He chased peace in motion and shadow and light. And Priscilla saw him silhouette aglow, breathing in twilight, steady and slow. He didn't ask for gold, didn't dream of a throne, just laughter at breakfast, a place to call home. In the hush of the ranch, in the hands of the crew, they found what was real, and he gave it to you.
I hope everybody enjoyed that. It does help my voice out to take a short break in the middle. The hour is a long time to talk. But here we can see Kang Rhee, the master, along with Elvis, who's also a master. He's a master under Master Rhee, and Elvis can test other students and award new degrees within their journey. So like he can give out belts under Master Rhee's authority. So this is a very special time for Elvis within his karate journey. And this is Master Rhee showing the class Elvis's ingrown toenail. And Pat's saying that Elvis looks so good there. And I believe Pat's talking about this picture where he's in his karate stance looking at Master Rhee. And Pat, this particular picture, the spa guy has taken this picture and he's taken Elvis out of it and blown Elvis up to life size on a cardboard cutout. And he's put it into the dojo. This very spot where we see Elvis standing, that's where this cardboard cutout stands. And you can stand next to it and have your picture taken as if you were Master Rhee. Or you can get a little closer or do your own karate stance back at him. But the pictures look great. Spa Guy also did one that's half size, so Elvis is only as tall as a child. So a lot of children like to take their pictures with that one. And usually it's out in front of the building when it's open. And it's pretty cute. And Jen's saying that she usually has to watch the replays or catch me on the weekends, and that she's glad she's on fall break this week. Well, I'm glad you're on fall break too, Jen, but I also appreciate that you watch the replays. That's as important as being here live. And If you watch the replays and you want to help the channel, make sure you leave a comment, that you like, that you're subscribed, that your bell doesn't have a line through it, so that you have the best chance to get the notification when I'm on live. YouTube's not very good with notifications, but it's got no chance if the bell has a line through it. And make sure you tell everybody that you know that loves Elvis Presley all about Hillbilly Cat history, so that they can join us here and they can learn all these new stories that they don't know either. And about people like Wayne Carman, who I believe is new to everybody on the broadcast today. And yet he was a TCB holder. So now we know somebody that was in Elvis's heart all this time. And we ourselves are a little bit closer to Elvis Presley. And Marion says that it's the first time she's glad to be sick, so that she's got lots of time to listen to this channel. Well, thank you so much, Marion. But I hope that nobody is ill or sick. But if you are, feel free to listen to the channel. I hope it helps you get well. And Pat says she's working on the weekends, so she'll watch those replays and like. Thank you so much, Pat. And everybody wishes that Marion gets better soon. And Kang Rhee, he tells us, well, let's look at this other picture first. This picture where Kang Rhee is showing the ingrown toenail that Elvis has. And Master Rhee is explaining to the class that he's made an exception, that normally he does not allow footwear of any kind, including socks, to be worn in the dojo. You practice in your bare feet. That's the way you do karate. But Kang Rhee, he's a master of karate. And part of karate is that you have to have a high degree of responsibility in order to learn the skills, because you will injure people and you will be injured, and you have to be able to fix what you break. You have to be able to bring healing where you've brought destruction. You have to be able to care for those around you first before you can protect them. And that's what Kang Rhee is doing here. Elvis, you can see on his hand, has a wound. A fan had scratched Elvis's hand and became infected. This is the rampant infection that we can see on Elvis's hand at this moment. Probably is very irritating and painful. He had surgery a couple of days before for this ingrown toenail. A minor problem, probably an outpatient surgery. Not normally a big deal, but it does create an infection risk because you've got an open wound. So he has the wound covered. But because he's already got this infection on his hand, his body is already weakened fighting an infection, and it's very liable to pick up another infection. So Master Rhee has ordered, not just made an exception, he's requiring Elvis to wear these socks, because that's what's going to keep Elvis safe during this period. So Kang Rhee, Master Rhee, a very responsible individual, and he's modeling that responsibility for students right now, that the first thing you do is you care for those you love, and then you protect them. And Gunn saying that he thinks, or that she thinks that Elvis was taken by surprise when Master Rhee took his leg and took off the sock. I don't really think so. Maybe he didn't expect for the sock to be taken off, but he seems game for it. And I think that he'd had a bandage on his hand prior to that, and that Kang had ripped the bandage off in order to show the wound. So this feels like something maybe they had talked about prior to doing the demonstration, but I don't know. I mean, it's a good point. Elvis might have been really surprised, but consummate showman professional, he went right along with it. And Jin's asking if the wound was from a fan scratching his hand. That's what Master Rhee explained, yes. That a fan had scratched Elvis's hand. So Rhee was indicating to us that Elvis had told him that it was from a fan. And so this is the kind of person that Master Rhee is. He's a very caring individual. And he's a master because he's good at details, right? It takes a lot of detailed knowledge in order to be able to practice karate. You have to keep a lot of things in mind to be able to memorize these different moves that you make and make them part of yourself. It all involves a lot of observational skills. You know, when you're fighting an opponent, you have to be able to pick up what that opponent's doing, what kata they're about to move into, or what you think is about to happen so that you can react accordingly and hopefully take the upper hand. So Kang Rhee was a master of observation. And of course, one of the things that swirls around Elvis all the time and that Master Rhee was fully aware of are the drug rumors around Elvis. There are always rumors about drugs that Elvis is using, thoughts that he is abusing prescription, taking street drugs. All of these rumors exist during Elvis's lifetime. They ramp up after he passes away because people like Sonny West in red, who we can see sitting in this picture, he's on his knees, he's right behind Elvis in the picture. Sonny, Red, Dave Hebler, who's also here, they go out and they push these stories and write a book about Elvis abusing drugs. But those rumors didn't start with the book. They had been around prior. And so Master Rhee was aware of them. And of course, he was fully aware of them after Elvis passed away. And people began to question him about whether Elvis was on drugs. And Gunn's saying that Elvis could have taken the sock off himself if he knew that Kang had wanted him to. Yeah, that's absolutely true. And of course, I don't know if Kang actually took the sock off. We just see this picture, but it looks like he did. And Marion saying that she can imagine that Master Rhee was proud that Elvis does karate, even though he's injured. And Gunn saying that Master Rhee is a master, but he doesn't look macho. And here's what Master Rhee has to say about Elvis and drugs. Master Rhee says, I told him that master tigers never take any pill, any drug, just lived well in natural healing. And then to be a strong king of the jungle. Now, why did Master Rhee tell Elvis this? Well, somebody, a bodyguard, according to Master Rhee, had requested that he speak to Elvis about the quantity of sleeping pills he ingested. Now, Master Rhee found this to be a very unusual request because he himself never saw any signs of Elvis's reported drug use. So if you've ever seen some of the clips from the new Gladiators movie that Elvis was filming about karate, a project he ultimately abandoned, we've talked about it in the past a little bit, and my thoughts that the right people were not involved in the project, and therefore the pieces that Elvis had paid a lot of money for that we can now see on the internet are very amateurish. And it would have looked the same way to Elvis. It would not have looked professional. So I think that's why he ended up abandoning the project at that time. But it was during this period, at this dojo, with Master Rhee. And in some of those clips, people make comments that Elvis does look like he's under the influence of drugs. So one thing we should remember is that, number one, there's no air conditioning within this building. There is now. Thank goodness. When you go to the museum now, and you can sit in actual Jungle Room furniture. It's not the furniture from the Jungle Room, but it's furniture that was mass produced with that same furniture from the same line. It's the exact same. If you went into the store today and you bought a couch, you're not getting the couch on the showroom floor. You're getting the identical couch that they've made a whole bunch of. Same deal. Spa Guy bought some furniture, exactly the same, sold at the same store, same period, same manufacturer, same models. You could sit in that, in this dojo, but luckily it's air conditioned, because you would not want to sit in it in July or even August or even June in Memphis, because it's extremely hot there, especially in this kind of building. So at the time that Elvis practiced here, it was a sweatshop. You would just start pouring sweat off as soon as you walked in. The fact that Red is sitting in full clothing and there's a woman over to the side with a jacket on, that indicates to me this is not summer inside this dojo when this happens, because it'd be really, really hot. So I don't know what the temperature was like when they were filming those portions of the new Gladiator, but that kind of makes you look like you're on drugs. You sweat a lot. And but there's some other reasons people say he looked that way. But Master Rhee saying I was right there, and it didn't look that way to me at all. That maybe it's coming out this way on the film, but while I'm there, what Kang Rhee says is he never saw any signs of Elvis's reported drug use. And this is a very observant individual. And Gunn says that she saw Rhee taking it off in a video. Well, thank you, Gunn. Thanks for letting us know that. So we know that it was Rhee took it off. And so you probably got a better look at whether Elvis was surprised at the time. So you probably got a much better commentary on this than I do. And Marion's saying that Rhee is a very nice-looking person, a nice-looking man. And that the previous guy, Selinsky, or gonna mess up his name. Let me look it up. Hank Slomansky. Cameron Hank Slomansky. He did look like a bear. He was a big guy. 6'2" or 6'3". Master Rhee's maybe 5'8". So he was a far different individual to train under and to take a blow from. Well, I don't know about take a blow from. Could be that Master Rhee had a much stronger strike, but I don't know. I do feel absolutely that Master Rhee's dojo is a lot less strenuous than Hank's, though. Everybody in Hank's dojo was a special forces military person other than Elvis. So that's some tough company. Here we've got children and individuals who are not necessarily martial arts oriented or even combat oriented, or with that combat experience or training. And Gunn saying that Hank took part in 3 wars. That's correct. Korean, World War II, 16 years old when he went into World War II. Did not fight much in World War II because he joined in 1944, but he did work in the occupation forces of Germany and in Japan, And it was while he was in Germany, he had to shoot a man. And that was the first one that he killed. It was a partisan that was trying to cross the lines. And those were his orders. And so if you've missed those stories about Hank Slomansky, well, it's tough to say his name, Hammerin' Hank Slomansky, be sure that you head back into the archive and see those episodes. He was a heck of an individual, very strong, very tough. But Master Rhee says he's never seen any of these reported signs of drug use. So he's not really sure why the bodyguards feel that Elvis is ingesting too many sleeping pills. And so he tells Elvis, quote, never take any pill or any drug, just live well in natural healing, and then be a strong king of the jungle. And as he has this conversation with Elvis, Kang Rhee says that Elvis told me that President Nixon appointed him a secret narcotics agent, and he showed me a badge. So we know that Elvis visited President Richard Nixon, and he did receive a DEA badge. I believe it was an agent at large badge. And he's now shown this badge, which we know Elvis loved, and it was very personal to him. And based on what Elvis is saying to Master Rhee, he's showing him this badge. Now, Elvis had a lot of badges. Maybe he showed him a different one. But my feeling is he's brought this badge specifically to show Master Rhee, or he's carrying it around all the time. Because as Master Rhee tells him this advice about drugs, which I don't think this bodyguard would have mentioned to Elvis, he said anything to Master Rhee. So this would have been a surprise talk. Elvis is able to pull this badge out and show it to Master Rhee. And of course, this convinces Kang Rhee that Elvis is not abusing drugs. In fact, the president has put him in charge of making sure people don't abuse drugs and given him a badge. And I'm sure that was incredibly impressive to Master Rhee. Now, we're back taking a look at this picture of a beautiful female in a karate gi who's standing next to Master Rhee, and that some have identified as Priscilla, and you can find it out on the internet. Google thinks it's Priscilla. People on the internet have posted the picture and they've put it as Priscilla. But is it Priscilla? We still don't know. I still haven't looked it up. Still out there as a mystery. But I think this person is too tall to be Priscilla. Because I'm thinking that based on the pictures, we know Elvis was 6 foot. Master Rhee appears to be about 5'8". This person's exactly the same size. Priscilla's only about 5'4". So she would be like another head shorter than Master Rhee. Could be totally wrong. Maybe Master Rhee is 5'4". It's hard to tell out of these pictures. But to me, it doesn't look like Priscilla's face. So it's still out there as a mystery. You still got time to get your vote in. Do you think it's Priscilla? Do you not think it's Priscilla? And hopefully we'll eventually find out. But whoever it is, they've got some good form. And it would probably hurt a lot to get hit by their leg strike. And I love this picture of Elvis with Master Rhee, because Elvis's outfit is just incredible, so super 70s, and one of the best things I think I've ever seen him wear. And it all looks so great together. And then Master Rhee himself, he just looks ready to take on anything. But you can see he's just, they're right next to each other in this picture. And Master Rhee his head rises above Elvis's shoulders. So he's got to be taller than 5'4". And Marion's saying that she thinks maybe it is Priscilla. And Gunn's asking how tall Priscilla was. So yesterday somebody looked it up and said she was 5'4", which is 4 inches shorter than what I think Master Rhee is based on this picture. And Jen's saying that she agrees Priscilla was short. And Gunn says that the body language of the female does not appear to be Priscilla's. And Jen says she needs a magnifying glass to look at that photo. So one of the hardest things to do is to take any of these photos about Elvis and figure out when it was really dated. So one way is to backwards search it on Google, but the problem is you have to depend on the dates that somebody else identified the photo as. And so I'll just tell you how my process works. Mostly these photos, when you search for them, they're going to pop up on Facebook and Instagram and used to be Tumblr, and the other social media photo sites. Some of those have some incredible information attached to them, so I never discount any of those sites. But they are not sites that I can use as actual reference because they are so very often wrong. And mostly they're wrong because they've pulled the information from somewhere else that was wrong and they're repeating it. These aren't Elvis scholars. They're just Elvis fans, and they've seen a picture somewhere, and it's a great picture, and it had a caption, or it was in a book next to a page that said something, and now they've misidentified the photo, not through, any fault of their own, but because a lot of the stuff was misidentified from years ago, and it just keeps rolling forward as misidentified. And so I've often gotten these pictures and thought, oh, I finally found a picture of this person. Well, it wasn't that person at all. I later find out. So there are some other sites, and there's a lot of sites that are no longer on the web, but I still have some of them because I downloaded or printed their information a long time ago. But some you can still access through like the Wayback Machine on the Internet Archive. But most of the page doesn't work, but you can find the text information that's on it. And those were from fans from 20 years ago or 25 years ago. And they, prior to the internet, were keeping these amazing, like, handwritten and photocopied batches of notes and stuff. And then they're typing them onto the internet when the internet became available, onto bulletin boards and things. And you can find some of that information, but a lot of it is also wrong. But there are kernels in all that info that is real, and that you go out there and find. And that's why it's so hard to identify that Priscilla picture. Because I think that where most people are saying they're getting the information is probably like a Facebook. And we just can't trust these Facebook. So when people say they don't trust the internet, that's what they're talking about. And the other problem is that AI, you can go do like a regular Google search and you'll find all kinds of stuff. And when you ask an AI to find stuff, it does the same Google search. Now, the difference is it reads it really fast and then it tells it back to you in a way that sounds like everything must be correct. Oh, this is perfect. I'm so glad I asked this AI this question. Well, the AI is only as good as that info on the very top layer of the Google search. So if you really want to know stuff, the Google searches are almost always wrong in and of themselves. And that's why people say that the internet is a bunch of lies. Well, it's not that the internet is wrong. It's that there are places on the internet that things are wrong. And those are the places Google likes to search because they're the most easily accessible, like Facebook. It's like Wikipedia. it's a great place to start. You can't assume that anything that Wikipedia says is true. You have to look at the source material they pulled it from. And a lot of that source material, unfortunately, no longer exists on the internet because things are always getting taken down. So they're great for seeing what used to be out there, but that doesn't mean that it was ever true. And it's just some of the fun of researching this stuff. But I've talked too much about that. We've gone past the hour. Linda's saying that she's always been curious about the canes. And yes, that is what Elvis has in the picture, a cane in his hand. He got really into these canes in the 70s. So maybe that would be a great thing to look at, is all kinds of different pictures with him with canes. That would be fun. And Jen's saying that the cane was an OG accessory, someone said, from Memphis. And OG means original gangster. It's what that actually means in slang. And original gangster is slang in America now for old school, which is slang for that's the way we originally did things. That's the way the first generation of whatever this is we're talking about would have done it. And it comes out of rap music, hip hop music, where they were the gangstas, which is gangster with an A at the end instead of an ER. And then original gangsta, that's the catchphrase. And Marion saying, if you look for Jurgen Seidel, they show you an Asian guy. Yes, that's because that's the Asian guy Jurgen sent Elvis to. And so he's connected to the story, but people hear karate, they see a name that's not American, and they start posting on Facebook that this man is Jurgen Seidel. And Mary's saying that Seidel is a German guy. Yes, correct. He was German. And Marion says that a cane is a good weapon too. And I'm sure that didn't get past Elvis, who's more than likely carrying more than one pistol on his clothes in this picture. And Linda says, again, Matt teaches me original means the first way it was done. So I'm going to head out of here on a song because now we're way over the hour. Got to close this thing down, and I'll see you guys again. Hopefully all of you that come at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. That's a few hours from now. And we will talk about Elvis and what's going on in Clambake, where we're at in that story. But we're going to go out of here with Elvis's His Heart's Desire. And all of you keep on taking care of business.
His time came too early, the curtain fell too fast. Before he was ready, before we could grasp the man behind the myth, the ache behind the fame. He wanted something simple, not fortune, not acclaim. 6'3", the threats came down like rain. He spoke of love, not fear, through the shadow and the strain. I wanna live to be old, he said with quiet grace, to remember her love and see our children's face. He didn't ask for gold, didn't dream of a throne. He wanted a family, a place to call home, to be a good man with a heart that could rest, to know he was loved and he'd given it his best. no mansion in the sky, no diamond parade, just the warmth of a hand and the life they made. A whisper of laughter, a child's sleepy sigh, that was the dream he carried inside. He didn't ask for gold, didn't dream of a throne. He wanted a family, a place to call home, to be a good man with a heart that could rest, to know he was loved and he'd given it